guys don't get it. Internet issues. We're just sitting here trying to figure out our internet issues and get ready to like do Widdershins and shit. As soon as I find the damn song. Where's the damn song? Widdershins theme. All right, hello.
Widdershins, 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 Widdershins. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, Widdershins, Widdershins. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just Widdershins, Widdershins. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to Widdershins, Widdershins. Widdershins, 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 Widdershins. When the crowd gets fussy, when the floor gets dusty, when your blade gets rusty, Widdershins, Widdershins. When your room smells funny, when a hex takes your money, what's gonna save you, honey? Just Widdershins, Widdershins. All you witches and all your old magicians, it's time to start listening to Widdershins, Widdershins. Widdershins, 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 Widdershins.
Streets and cities burning, plumes of smoke above. Speaker revolution, it's what I'm thinking of. Speak about America, flags waving in the wind. America is out here by the glowing box within. You can't feel the tension, you live inside a cave. The dying Constitution rots within its grave. The flames of discontent, fan flames, fans of flames of discontent. When I think about the future coming closer every day, I think a revolution, it seems the only way. But I wonder if we've got it with
books the army wields, expressions on the faces of the starting millions. The power of the plan, the fuel that drives the clan. He's the motive and the conscience of the murderer. He's a preacher on TV, the false sincerity, the formula that's written by the big computers and nuclear bombs. The kids with no moms, and I'm fearful that he's inside me. Yeah, we've got the American Jesus, see him on the interstate. We've got the American Jesus, exercising his authority. We've got the American Jesus, bolstering national faith. We've got the American Jesus, overwhelming millions every day. Yeah.
and spoke to me, although a stranger. Of Alex worlds once thought lost, and blasphemies that once were whispered. She said, "You'll welcome us into your homes. We'll linger in your blood, our ways are in your bones." From the witchwood, we rise and greet you at your door. The old ways remain, and the ancient laws they live on. The old ways
customs remain, and the ancient gods live on.
Blood Ceremony on Widdershins Radio. One of Marta's favorites. We like to get a new blood ceremony song every so often. Widdershins! Radio for your spiritual side.
Little bit of a lag there.
A twisted approach to the left-hand path. And we're back after Hex Fest, where we didn't really go anywhere to go to Hex Fest.
Yeah, we
But it
just
was
turned
still-
our either our laptops or our phones, depending on our mood.
Yep.
Or we didn't really watch anything on the big screen. We set it all up so we could just sit on the couch and
Yeah.
watch everything from
Eventually, we're going to binge watch all of the
big
workshops.
screen in the living room. So yeah, we could still do that.
Yeah, we're going to do that because now we can. And if you went to Hexfest, or even if you can sign on to Hexfest later, you can join Hexfest later and watch all of the presenters and all the rituals and the drums and all of it on Hexfest online at hexfest.com. But I just put in my contract for next year's Hexfest. So we'll see. We'll see if the workshop is accepted. You know, being that the workshop was suggested by Christian Day, I think they'll accept the workshop. Yeah. He said, "Why don't you do one of these?" I said, "Yeah, I was thinking of doing one of those, and I think that's what I'm going to do." And so and then now WitchCon's coming up. I'm going to have to find that so I can start plugging that and meeting my contractual obligations because I'm signed up for WitchCon. WitchCon's going to be in March. I'll plug it later, but it's $95. It's like 2 days worth of stuff. And so the list of presenters for WitchCon is epic, even in comparison to the list of the presenters at Hexfest. Because the list of the presenters at Hexfest, they didn't know it was going to go this way. They had to sign on to, take a couple days out of their schedule, fly to New Orleans, stay in a hotel, all that kind of thing. But WitchCon, being that it's planned to be a digital festival and will remain a digital festival, well, that opens up all kind of opportunities for big name presenters. Only have a little bit of time. All they got to do is, go into a room in their house and spend an hour talking about some magic and some witchcraft, be a part of what's going to be an epic event. Now, we're hoping by next year, HexFest will be in person. We'll be able to have HexFest like we always had HexFest. But it's still, I kind of felt it. I felt it in the air all weekends. It's HexFest weekend. And we spent all of our time, other than my, hour and 15-minute workshop, in the virtual video greet and meet and greet. Yeah, that's what it's called. On Zoom, hanging out with people, presenters, attendees, hanging out. I took a walk and, showed a bit of New Orleans skyline to them. It was different, but I could still feel HexFest in the air. And there were still people that still came to New Orleans and did HexFest remotely, but lurked around New Orleans because they banked the vacation time. I heard of a couple people. Well, and then there was our friend too that came here. She didn't really come here and do HexFest, but she came here during HexFest, and we met her at HexFest. But yeah, there's a couple people that I was talking to on Facebook that came to New Orleans anyways and did the minimal tourist things that you can do because they had the time off and they're already, I don't know if their hotel was still booked or what. I don't know why everybody did that, but
because I think he has like a standing offer that if you hang on to your tickets now this year and do it virtually, and then you want to buy tickets next year, I think he said, is it half off next year's tickets?
Well, I think, what I actually saw once HexFest was happening, I'm pretty sure I'm right, was that this year's attendees get half off next year.
Okay.
And I think
but don't quote us.
I think the people that paid and didn't want to do the virtual thing are just getting their tickets honored next year. I know that the other people are getting half off.
That part, but the people who kept this year and are also going next year, they got some kind of perk, right? Yeah,
like it seemed like he was talking about that once, then he wasn't talking about that, and then when the HexFest actually happened, it said that in the notes. Okay. That you get half off next year, so you get.
It's a good deal.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good deal in a lot of ways. Like we were always saying, it's like we now have all of the workshops, and we can binge watch them anytime we want. And at actual HexFest, we didn't make it to anybody's workshop.
Yeah, and we can watch the Dragon Ritual drummers anytime we want. Over and over again if we feel like it, like on Saturday
We don't have to take notes. We can lazily learn magic.
We can dance naked in our yard listening to the Dragon Ritual drummers every month.
Well, and even more so now that, one of my students and a good friend of ours is a Dragon Ritual drummer. Yeah. I did not know that until HexFest happened.
I don't know if she's technically, I'm not sure if she's officially a part of it or if she was standing in for somebody.
All right. Well, she was at all of their, I know. We missed one of the events, but I assume she was there too.
I know. But what I'm saying is I'm not sure if she's actually part of them or if she was subbing.
Yeah.
You got to ask her.
But still, that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Now we're going to have to get her on Widdershins because I think she got a book coming out.
She did?
I believe she got a book coming out. I think that's how she got signed on to WitchCon. She wrote a book.
Okay.
I think we heard that from Christian First, which we weren't told, but that was cool. That was cool. And when I started working at the Hex Education Network, which was kind of the prelude to show that this kind of thing could be done, I took all kind of grief about the quality of my internet connection and the quality of my camera and all this. I don't know. So some of the things that really just piss people off about Christian Day, I think they're funny. I think it's cute. It's like, oh, look, he's being such a bitch right now. Isn't that cute? You know, I just don't have the reaction that other people have. And maybe, you know, because I've been living with Marta all these years, I've developed a thick skin. I guess, you know, 20 years ago, I'd probably be kind of pissed off at some of that stuff. But yeah,
Well, you were a
thanks to you.
sniveling little bitch when I met you.
Oh, dear. Oh, God, I'm sorry. I looked up and I saw a Trump tweet and started reading it on CNN. And it distracted me for a minute. Let's see. So, Hexfest. What was I going to say about Hexfest? Was I done? Well,
Do we? I mean, it's too early, and we know it's in August. But do we have the dates yet for? I mean, we know it's okay. Yeah, it's in August.
I just signed a contract for something. There was probably dates on there, but I can't see it now. So.
And I heard that it was always the same weekend as the Red Dress Run, which you know, we obviously didn't have this year.
Red Dress Run.
But if we look that up, they probably have the dates for next year.
Yeah,
we could figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool, you know, for people who've never been to New Orleans, you know, like how we came for the first time. There's like all these dudes, you know, and women too, who are like running in red dresses. And they've got like headbands on and stuff. You know, the only thing I didn't like about it is that they crowded all the bars. Like we'd go into certain bars and they were packed, and everybody in there was wearing a red dress. So
well, and
that
I don't
was
know.
a little irritating, but
you know, it seems pretty accurate most times. But NCIS New Orleans, the candidate for mayor, he had a red dress on. The captain of the federal police NCIS people, he had a red dress on.
Oh, the
lab guy had a red dress on.
Yeah, I mean,
I try not to think about him as the Star Trek guy.
Yeah,
I just want to forget that.
I don't
period.
even know. What, you know, if they're running. So they're running for a charity, and everybody has a number. I mean, you probably don't have to. You could probably just join and run along and drink with them. Just
I don't know how it works. What I saw was people were just too drunk to run. They didn't make it very far.
But some people, you know, even if they're drinking as they run, a lot of people will have like an official number, you know, on their chest. And it is for charity. I'm not sure what kind of which charity it is, or if it's the same one or it changes. I
don't know if just a bunch of other people run with them, but I remember I did not see a lot of those numbers. I saw a lot of red dresses, but I did not see a lot. I mean, maybe they were done.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's
possible
that it happens early in the morning because it's, you know, you have to realize it's in the middle of August, which is the hottest month.
Probably a great time to wear a dress if you're a dude. You know, air that shit out. You know.
But so you know, for all we know, it might start at like 8 a.m. or something, and then by the time our asses are up, it's over.
Yeah. By the time we saw it, you know, everybody was drunk and falling down the street. And,
and then you get to see the Bourbon Street gravy.
Yep.
And I hear that's why they hose down the French Quarter every morning.
Well, that's why they used to. I don't know if they have to anymore.
Yeah, they probably don't have to anymore. But that, you know, traditionally that's what they do every morning. And it's a really nice time to be in the French Quarter in the morning because everything's clean and there's nobody there and there's no like vomit in the streets.
Well, if you think about it, you know, those are some of the unsung essential workers of New Orleans.
Yeah.
And they're probably out of work now. So there's no fucking need for gravy cleaning right now. They're out like, you know, fucking begging for change,
you know,
probably.
People, you know, if they wanted to, nobody's going to stop anybody from drinking in the streets, the empty streets. So that might still happen. But you can't.
The rats might.
But you can't get drinks. Like, there's no open place where you can get drinks to go. Like, they're not allowing drinks to go. But I haven't heard of anything where they outlawed just straight drinking in public, like with your own alcohol. It sounds like you could still do that. Like if you really wanted to and you came there and everything's closed, nobody's going to stop you.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't been anywhere in the world where I could just, you know, walk down the street drinking. Marta has. I have not. I've spent most of my time in California and a couple other states. None of those places could you just walk down the street drinking.
Yep.
God bless New Orleans.
Yep.
Sometimes, you know, even though I'm not that thirsty, I'll take a beer with me when I go to take the dogs for a walk.
Oh, really?
Because I can.
Oh, my God.
As long as it's not in a bottle.
That's funny.
That's the other thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
glass.
you can drink,
Don't
but
bring
don't
glass.
you drink
That's
with glass
why,
or you're
like
screwed to get you.
even when you're in a bar and you're sitting in the bar, they will more likely than not make your drink in a plastic cup, just so that you have the option if you want to get up and leave, or if you have to leave or whatever, you can just take it with you.
Yeah.
And they just kind of cut out the middleman and just directly pour it in a plastic cup. That pretty much everywhere I've been, except like if we're at a sit down dinner somewhere, they'll pour the drink in glass.
Yeah.
But if you're at a bar, they'll just, from what I've my experience, they just pour it straight in something plastic that you can take outside.
Well, for some of the bars, it's a marketing thing. You get those crazy drinks and the really long
A lot
cup
of
that it's a signature of that
which
bar.
You and I actually haven't done, but
haven't done
we've
one of
seen
those.
some bar rescues where like these bars have like this bright yellow, huge, tall, like 5-foot tall glass that that you dry. I mean, not
Well,
glass.
there's one that's
but,
like a grenade.
Yeah.
In Bar Rescue, they made one that was like a blinking skull.
And then a lot of them, even if they're not fancy, they have like the logo of the bar.
Yeah.
Like the bar that we go to, it's just a plain black plastic cup, but it's got white writing on it, and it's got the name of the bar. So
Well, I remember
the
the one with the blinking skull that John
Yeah.
Taffer made was Spirits on Bourbon.
Okay.
And we need to go into one of those places. I'll just say, look, if I give you enough money, you just fill up one of those cups with IPAs. Just keep pouring IPAs until the motherfucker's
If
full.
they have IPAs.
Most places do.
And the
Most
cool
bars do.
thing, I don't know if this applies to places on Bourbon Street, but most of the bars, like the indoor bars, will let you bring a dog.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anywhere in California. Like, I mean, even in the dog-friendly places, they're only dog-friendly because they have a patio or some sort of outdoor seating. They still won't let you inside. We only know of one place in Hollywood, which thankfully was by our house, that does let you bring dogs inside, but nobody else does. But this, I mean, I think if they serve food, you can't bring them inside. But if it's just a bar, they've absolutely let you bring dogs.
Yeah.
Every time.
We're going to need to teach Mojo how not to be a dick. Azzy was always good with that kind of stuff, but Mojo will bark at other dogs, and then Azzy will bark at the fucking dog.
know.
And we're going to need to figure that
Yeah.
out. 'cause
Azzy's
Mojo
super
hasn't
mellow.
had a whole lot of time out.
Right. Azzy's super mellow. Azzy doesn't bark at anybody.
But if Mojo barks, he'll bark.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Mojo's a
Mojo's
bad
an
influence.
influencer.
Even when Mojo sees our cat upstairs, he'll start barking and running upstairs and stuff. And Azzy, his stupid ass, just follows him along, even though he knows he's not allowed.
Yep.
And then as
Even
soon as
though-
we're like, oh no, and then
Well,
and then
even
he
though
stops.
he went through so long to where him and the cat are on equal terms and they're
Mm-hmm.
good with each other, he'll still do that. And somehow the cat doesn't seem to hold that against him.
Mm-hmm.
He's done that to the cat a few times, and the cat's still not tripping on Azzy. So
Mm-hmm.
the cat's smart, I guess. That's our life. So we're looking at CNN, watching talk about Biden pick Kamala Harris. I like her. I don't care. The one thing I've heard people bitch about is
people say she's anti-trans, and
Okay.
I don't know if she is or not. I'm just saying that's what people say.
I
She's
know.
anti-trans, and that she, came down really hard on, I don't know what to call it, but like certain homeless people and disenfranchised people. That she wasn't super empathetic with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
That's the only bad thing, which is enough, but that's the only bad thing that I've heard about her.
Well, and that's where I'm going to have to part ways with people. I don't expect a prosecutor to be empathetic. That's
Right.
not their job. A prosecutor makes their way in the world by convicting people. They take cases that they can win. That's the job. I'm sorry. That sucks. Yeah, that can lead to all kind of bad shit, but that is the job of a prosecutor.
Well, at least she wasn't a public defender who did that.
Yeah,
Sold him down the river.
a public defender is just supposed to defend people no matter what, and
Yeah.
a prosecutor is supposed to convict them
Prosecute
no
them.
matter what. If
Yeah.
you're not doing a good job as a defender, they'll prosecute them. They're not going to stop and go, "Oh, well, maybe your client wasn't really guilty." That's just not their fucking job. It should be, but that's not the world we live in. And so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
And I know a
haven't
couple-
heard of any anti-trans shit she's actually done. So.
And I know a couple of paralegals and attorneys and stuff who say the public just generally doesn't understand some of the nuances of law.
Yeah.
People who don't understand how it works are like really kind of black and white about it and be like, well, she blah 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 blah, but it's more complicated than that. And yeah, if you're the DA. And you don't prosecute, you're going to lose your job.
Yeah. I mean,
So
you don't prosecute.
I'm not saying that I would be able to do it, but if you're in that position, that doesn't make you a bad person.
And
You're
the
doing your
rules
job.
of it are, if you definitely can win, you prosecute. If there's a question that you might not, you probably won't
You
prosecute.
drop the charges.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
the DA is fully empowered to drop the charges.
The entire way that they're voted in is based on their conviction record.
Yep.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm sorry, that's the system. That's the job you have to fucking do.
Yeah.
Like it or not, change the fucking system. Don't hate the fucking player, hate the game. And the game's fucked up, but she played it well. She's gutsy. She's got cojones. That's what we need. She's going to tear fucking Pence a new asshole when they debate, and it should be, if they just put it up for pay-per-view, we could probably take care of our deficit problem. Everybody was going to pay to see that. Everybody's going to pay to see fucking Biden debate Trump, too. And there's no way he can't win. Trump's going to lose his shit. He'll probably storm off like he does with the fucking press. Whenever they challenge it on some bullshit that he's fucking saying, he just storms out of the room. It's like, guess what? You don't win a debate if you storm out of the room. That's the ultimate way to lose a debate. You're the absolute loser. Everybody will call you a loser. Your own side will have to call you a loser if you storm out of the room. But I predict that. I predict him storming out of the room. Did he ever have to debate anybody last time? Or he debated Republicans? No, he did debate Hillary, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that where she called him a Russian puppet. He goes, "You're a puppet."
Yeah, you're the puppet. And, every time she spoke, he would stand behind her and try to be like the intimidating dude. I remember that.
Yeah, I forgot about all that crap.
Yeah. Eventually, Biden and Trump are going to debate, and so is Harris and Pence.
Yeah, and so way back when he debated Hillary, we saw his strategy for the entire rest of the presidency. It's like, I know you are, but what am I?
That's
the
his
kindergarten
strategy for
fucking
the
defense.
whole thing, yeah.
Exactly. That was we saw that early on. That would be his strategy for his entire presidency. Whatever everybody calls him, he's going to call them, and that's his only real argument. So I think Twitter said last night, within 2 minutes of the announcement that Biden had picked her as a running mate, Trump tweeted that she was nasty. And that should just be a badge of honor. I'm sure he's called her nasty before. She should get a new badge each time he says it and just wear them with pride. That means you're a woman that he can't handle. And that's what Biden just said. They just had a quote on CNN from Biden that Trump's already whining about Kamala Harris because he can't deal with strong women. And I was like, dude, that's all you need. Just run with that. Fuck, Trump can't deal with strong women. Make that your campaign fucking slogan. Best one I saw was the Lincoln Project that said, vote Biden. He's not a whiny little bitch. Biden should adopt that one too. Run on those two fucking things, and you got the election. Fucking strong woman facing fucking Trump. That's what we need, man. And that's what he can't handle. He can't take it. And going to rip his little vice president to shreds, and it's going to be fucking great. So we got some good TV coming up.
Yeah.
Soon, debates between Trump and Biden.
Yeah, but we don't know when.
Harris.
Right?
They said within 2 weeks.
Okay,
like
and here
almost
we got
a week ago.
Trump takes questions after first Biden-Harris campaign event. We're not going to listen to that asshole now.
No.
But we'll listen to it later. I mean, I'm sure it'll be a story that I can read.
Well, I saw him doing some little photo op today or news op that none of the networks seem to carry.
Oh, really?
But I saw it on Facebook on the national desk. I couldn't find a channel actually showing the damn thing. Maybe because I don't have Fox.
The first Biden-Harris campaign.
But it was about sending the kids back to school. And they said like a couple times, like all of the teachers want the kids to go back to school. It's like,
That's
well,
not true.
you ain't talking to the teachers I'm talking to. I know of a teachers union that sued them because they didn't want to go back to school. A whole fucking teachers union. I don't know how many teachers
that was
unions
in
they fucking
Florida,
are. Yeah, and that was in Florida.
which supports Trump.
Yeah.
And then in California, the second largest teachers union in the country is LA Unified.
Yep.
And I know a lot of those people who teach for LA Unified, a lot. And not a single one of them wants to go back to school.
Yeah.
So I don't even know.
I mean, they want to go back to school.
Well, you know what I
they
mean.
don't want to go
They're
back to
saying-
school until it's
They're
safe.
saying that it's not safe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right now.
Because people just kept arguing. I got on that thread and, of course, was arguing with Trump supporters like I always do. And if you go to the national desk, I'll be like one of the top viewers there
Yeah.
because I post 30 million times. I think I copy and pasted Real Patriots Hate Trump 50 times into this stream while he was fucking talking, and I just kept pasting it all fucking day. They're gonna tag me as a bot soon, but I just kept arguing with people, and they said, no, teachers want to go back to school. And I said, teachers want to go back to school when it's safe. Of course they want to have their fucking jobs. Of course they want to have their fucking lives.
wanna see their
But
students
I don't know
and
any
teachers
teachers that
I
want to
know-
go to school, go back to school now. Because nobody has a safe plan. Nobody's doing it. All the people that had all these protocols and safe plans have fucking record numbers of students contracting
Well,
and spreading the fucking virus.
An extra problem on top of that is even if they did have a hypothetically foolproof, seal-proof, safe plan, the students are going to be miserable because the safe plan entails that everybody's in a hazmat suit and it stays 6 feet away from each other.
Yeah.
That's the safe way. And we all know that's, clearly a lot of people don't know what's going to work, but the teachers know that that's not a good idea. Mm-hmm. The only way to make it extremely safe is not conducive to learning.
Yeah. And I heard people, talking about how it's going to scar our children. Guess what, kids? Children get scars. Your job as a parent is not to give them scars, but help them when they get scars. So my job is not to fucking kill my kid, not to give them scars. Sending him back to school right now
Gives him scars.
is going to give him other scars. It's like the only reason I really want him to go back to school right now is for the social aspect in the first place, which he will not have. And the trauma of having it's like, there's your fucking best friend you haven't seen in fucking months. You can't go within 6 feet of. You can't play with on the fucking playground. It's like, that's not going to fucking cause scars?
And every time you try to come close to him, a teacher gets in front of you and says, nope,
Yeah.
nope, back up, back up.
Be in the principal's office because you got too close to somebody.
Yeah,
that's not
everybody's
going to
gonna
cause
be
fucking
screaming
scars.
at you to back up
It's like-
every time.
The scars
That's
that
not
our
gonna
children are going to
damage a
have
kid.
right now are caused by the world. And we can't undo those. We can only help them with those scars. Mm-hmm. It's going to cause our children difficulty in this, this generation of children. But that's the fucking world. We can't just, deny the world and, pretend it's going to be okay. It's not. It's not. What they're talking about is the social aspect, the in-person aspect of being in school and not having that is going to cause the children scars.
And that's not going to happen
And
anyway.
they're not going to have that social aspect. And going back to school, they're going to be risking their lives, their parents' lives. When their parents fucking die because they brought home
And
a
the
fucking
teachers.
virus, you think that's not going to cause some fucking scars?
Their teacher.
Your parents and your teacher died because you carried a virus, and you weren't as susceptible to the virus as adults,
you came
so
out
you
fine,
survived.
but they died.
Now you're in a fucking orphanage. Yeah, that's not going to cause any scars. Fucking idiots. I'm clearly a little worked up about this issue.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad Sasha's in his room with the door closed and didn't hear any of that.
You might still heard it, but
Still might
but
have
yeah,
heard it.
I think that's what they're not considering is like, okay, I think, and the thing is like, we all agree that the kids should be back at school. We all agree. There's no argument. There's not a single parent, a single teacher. Like, yes, but when it's safe, when it's not safe, that causes more trauma.
Yeah. It's like, if we sent our kid to school, and he wasn't, kids, they say kids don't catch it that much, but every time I hear a school open,
they
there's
spread it.
800 cases here, 200 cases there. There's these other fucking things that are related to COVID that the kids do get, that are life-threatening, that cause damage that's going to last the rest of their fucking lives. Let's say I send him back to school anyways. Comes home. Mom's immunocompromised. She probably dead. Dad's not a fucking health nut at all. Dad's probably dead too. Your teacher might be fucking dead.
And
It's
then
like,
what?
Then what?
Where does he
then,
go?
Then the scars that you're gonna
He'll
fucking
be
have
fine
from
in
that.
the foster system.
Yeah. It's like, at least here, we're keeping our kid home, If we died after he was 18, at least he'd get the fucking house. If we die before that, he gets nothing. It's going to go to the fucking state or something. I don't know how that fucking works, but, he's going to go to the state for sure. Being in a Louisiana orphanage. That's not going to
Or
cause you
foster
from
care
fucking
or
scars.
whatever.
Or
Yeah.
Louisiana foster care.
Any
Which-
foster, it doesn't
yeah.
even matter what state it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Any
yeah.
foster care.
Yeah. Well, I particularly think, I'm thinking of Louisiana.
But our point here is that sending him to school does not satisfy this issue that people have with how it affects children emotionally and mentally. Sending him to school does not get rid of that. I mean, the reality is they will, to some extent, be a little disturbed by what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's our job as parents to, try to soften that blow as much as we can. Sending them to school, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Who does that help? Who?
Trump.
The parent. Oh, and the parents. Some of the parents.
Those parents.
Some of the parents, and I'm sorry to, be judgmental, some of the parents just want childcare.
Huh?
They want the school to provide childcare for their kids so they can go do their thing, whether
Huh.
it's work or even if they don't work.
Well, and some of them, they need to go to work. They're going to get evicted soon. The fucking moratorium on evictions is gone. I get you, but would you sacrifice your children for it?
Yeah.
I mean, you want to pay the fucking rent and the mortgage, whatever you got, to keep a roof over your kids' heads, right? I mean, did we all study the same manual when we became parents? Because that was the manual I fucking studied. I want my kids to be okay. I'm not that worried about myself. The only reason I worry about myself is for my kids,
Yep.
for my wife.
Me too.
I want to stay alive for them. Not so much that I want to fucking stay alive. I want to stay alive for them. That's it's like, are we not drinking from the fucking same cooler here? I don't get it. But I understand. People got to go back to work. They're desperate, so you're in between a rock and a hard place. You want your kid to go back to school. You don't want to fucking sacrifice your kid for Trump. But if the kid doesn't go back to school, you can't go back to work. You got to pay like 4 months fucking back rent right now. You don't want to end up on the street. So I get you. There's no fucking easy answers here.
There is an easy answer.
Government.
That is the fault of the government.
Yeah.
It's like, people are mad at each other. And some of them I'm related to. They'll be like, well, we have to go back to work. And it's your fault because you don't want to open. And we want to open. And you don't want to open. And you're preventing us from... No, bitches. It's the government. Mm-hmm. The government has failed you. If the government took care of you financially and made sure that you still had a home and that you weren't going to get evicted, we should stay home until this thing is over or we get a vaccine or whatever. I'm not, just because I don't want things to open, I'm not the enemy. I'm not failing you. I am also trying to keep you alive in addition to myself, and you're being failed by your government, period.
I'm looking at this fat orange fuck on my TV right now, and he's sitting in a nice fucking house that we pay for. all of the senators,
And his
all
kid
of the,
isn't going to
the,
school.
the House of Representatives. They're all being fucking paid for off of our fucking tip. They don't lose their jobs. This man hasn't done his job. He's still got a fucking job. You know, even though we don't have money to pay, or a lot of us don't have money to pay into our taxes right now, he's getting fucking paid.
And
He's going to be fucking fine.
And his kid isn't going to school.
The only reason we have these people in those places is to take care of the people. That was the job of the government. If the people aren't taken care of, why the fuck do we have a government?
Why do we pay taxes?
Why do we pay taxes? Why are we fucking keeping these people in their fucking mansions when the rest of us going to be on the fucking street? Aren't we a cheery bunch of fucks?
I just don't understand. And it's like, you know, we're over here fighting each other over a bunch of bullshit.
Breadcrumbs.
And, you know, I keep reading about how the 1% seriously has made billions off of this lockdown. Billions.
Yeah.
And we're fighting each other.
Yeah.
And they're sitting back laughing. Dance
Yeah.
puppets.
Yeah. And the CEO of fucking Amazon's still not going to have to pay any taxes.
No.
They're going to have
And
the most record number of
I
fucking
think
profits
he made
ever.
like $700 million more after the shutdown than he would have made without the shutdown.
Yeah. Only 700 million? I was expecting more billions.
I could
All
be
right.
wrong.
Yeah.
But, fucking Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people are spending more time on Facebook. People are spending more time ordering stuff on Amazon. And there's like another handful of people who provide some service or something that
Grubhub stock's
people
probably
need
up.
right now. And, Grubhub, Uber Eats,
Yeah.
you know, all that.
Shipped.
Postmates. Yeah, Shipped, Instacart. All those people are making a kill. The homeschool people
Yeah.
who have stock in that. You know, there's certain niches here that are making way more, and they stand to lose if we go back to normal, which, you know, I don't care about. I'm more worried about everybody's safety. But, you know, the people who are getting the shaft here are mad at people who have nothing to do with that.
Yep.
'Cause
And
it's
that's
easier.
always
It's
the way.
easier.
They
Like,
keep-
Trump's not going to listen to you.
Well, it's always the way. We, the left, the right, whatever you got, we're always out here fighting over breadcrumbs. That motherfucker on my TV right there is eating cake. Every fucking, that's all he eats. Fucking cake and Cheetos
And
and
Big
shit.
Macs.
And Big Macs
And
and
KFC.
shit. Yeah. But we're over here fighting for these little fucking breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
All right, let's fucking play something.
Yeah.
Pissed off. Ugh.
Who came along for the ride? Hey, you can come inside. Do the citizens kneel for sex? Is heaven coming on its chest? Hollywood
All right, before I play this next song, you over there on YouTube, they're going to fucking blast us for copyright infringement. You know what? This is Stellar Corpses. We had him on the Stay the Fucking Home show one day, and he said we could play his song. So, fuck y'all. We have explicit permission. Implied. It's not written. Fuck you.
I made a doll and it looks like you. It's cute, small, and it smells
true sounds of liberty, which I believe is playing this little instrumental in the background for the next minute or so. Not the same version I had when I was a kid, but we're talking over the top bit. So Marta just informed us that they're already questioning Kamala Harris's citizenship.
Well,
They want the birth certificate.
I was, you and I were just joking around. I was like, oh my God, I guess they're going to say she wasn't born here.
Yeah.
And then here's I don't know anything about the source, but it says viral Facebook posts, whatever they are, Facebook posts claim Kamala Harris is not a U.S. citizen, and fact checkers are bringing the receipts. So it begins.
That's classic.
Graduate of Howard University, Harris worked for decades as a prosecutor, including years as California's first female attorney general, selected to the Senate 2016. I remember I voted for her in 2016. Let's see, was met instantly with racist and sexist diatribes from some right-wing circles. It took all of 1 hour for Trump to call the senator nasty at a press briefing.
I thought it was like a couple minutes. Here, you talk.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Somebody's knocking on our door. Let's see. It took all of 1 hour for Trump to call her nasty. Radio host Mark Levin. Oh, what's that? Okay. Radio host Mike Levin spent an entire diatribe falsely surmising that Harris is not, quote unquote, actually African American. And I will clear that up because I'm sure they're splitting hairs. No, she's not technically African American because her father is Jamaican, which is not from Africa. Unless you want to go back even
Afro-Jamaican.
Well, eventually,
yeah.
Her father's Jamaican and her mother is from India. Mm-hmm. So, is that what they're splitting hairs about?
Well, it's
not technically
it's
African
like Cuba
American?
or all those other islands that the colonial powers colonized. They were filled with African slaves. So the Jamaicans are black, and I've heard like friends bitching about how she's like, not a person of color enough or something. It's like Obama was black and white. She's black and brown. So she's the most person of color we've had there so far. So I don't get it. Like I said on Facebook, the last I saw, Jamaicans were black. And they are African. They were, brought their slaves, took over the island, that kind of thing. Maybe there's some brown Jamaicans from before the slave trade happened, but probably none left. Probably no indigenous Jamaicans left. But yeah, people complaining that she's like somehow not black enough or not a person of color enough. It's like, really? Come on, people. Jesus Christ. You've got a woman, a female vice president who's two people of color. That's not good enough for you yet. We're not PC enough yet. If they win. Okay.
It's my new ATM card.
Oh, it's a different kind of envelope than last time.
They delivered this
It's much better than the last time it was U.S. Postal.
Checking the mail.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I mean, that's U.S. Postal, but it's a UPS thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
All right, cool. It's not black enough. All right, let me see. I had this story, and I got a couple stories here, but I found this one on the Wild Hunt, and it's actually from the Wild Hunt. Yes. And I have to say, don't like to say, but I told you so. The Supreme Court decision might hold benefits for pagans. withhold pay. Okay, maybe I didn't tell you so. Let's see. I haven't read the story yet. I just looked at it and said, oh, that'll be great to read on air, and I like to be shocked with the rest of you. On June 30th, 2020, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in Espinoza versus Montana Department of Revenue and held that Montana law discriminated against religious schools. It ruled that if Montana provided funds or benefits to secular private schools, then those same funds must be made available to private religious schools. Theoretically, the ruling...
This is not how you clean this
Okay.
pan.
Okay.
The whole thing needs to be scrubbed.
Okay.
The whole thing.
Okay.
Let's
Theoretically, the ruling could allow pagan school to receive those funds or benefits. The 5 conservative judges voted for the decision, and 4 liberal judges voted against it. The Wild Hunt spoke about this decision in Kanu, where with Kanu, a lawyer and past first officer of the Covenant of the Goddess. Hey, shut the fuck up, dog. I'm reading some goddamn news. Jesus. He serves as the high priest of the Beachfire Coven, a senior seer in the House of Bree Ferry Seership Institute. They lost me. They lost me at Ferry Seership. Stop it. Stop it. God damn it. Shut the fuck up. Go. Get the fuck out of here. If you can't fucking deal, you get out of this goddamn room. Ferry Seership. Oh, what a joke. Let me see where I was. I was at the Ferry Seership joke. 3rd degree elder in the Georgian tradition. I don't know that tradition. Implications of the decision for the pagan community. According to Kanu, the decision could potentially benefit pagans. It could provide access to government aid programs that are otherwise available to similar or private organizations. Now, this is all great unless Trump wins 4 more years. This will all go away, kids. Kanu said that this decision should allow pagan organizations to participate in generally neutral government aid programs that other religious and private organizations benefit from. Many other religion-based schools, Christian, Islamic, and Jewish, provide both general educational and religious instruction. Only those schools with a general curriculum, as well as religious institution, would be eligible. Pagan schools with an exclusively spiritual focus would not be eligible for benefits under this decision. Cherry Hill Seminary, Ardontaine, and Circle Sanctuary have provided graduate and adult education like that of a seminary. Kanu thought that schools like those 3 might possibly benefit from the decision. Other difficulties may exist, like the school would have to be organized as a school under its own state laws to benefit from the decision. For pagan organizations, any vague standards for getting government aid are vulnerable. Kanu cautioned government officials and vocal citizens may harbor biases against pagan beliefs and practices, and vague standards could allow those prejudices to surface. Kanu was unaware of any state or federal program directly funding any pagan group. He noted that tax benefits are already accrued to those pagan groups legally recognized as religious organizations. Overview of Espinoza versus Montana Department of Revenue. The decision occurs in an ongoing political argument about school choice programs, which involve 2 policies, vouchers and tax credits. Under a voucher-type system, a state provides vouchers to parents to pay for education at private schools under tax private schools. Montana law extended the tax credit system to fund a scholarship fund for low-income families. Both vouchers and tax credits function as costs to the state. The Huffington Post reported that 29 states and Washington, D.C. have some type of voucher or tax credit system. In 2015, Montana set up a tax credit program. Individuals or corporations would donate to a scholarship fund. In return, Montana would then provide these donors with tax credits. The fund would provide scholarships for low-income students to attend private schools. Montana's constitution prohibits the state from providing benefits to religious groups. 3 mothers with children at the Stillwater Christian School in Kalispell sued Montana for access to those scholarships. A trial court found that for those mothers, Montana appealed the decision. In December 2018, the Montana Supreme Court reinstated the ban. The 3 plaintiffs then appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Roberts wrote in Espinosa versus Montana, Department of Revenue, number 18-1195, a state need not subsidize private education, but once a state decides to do so, it cannot disqualify some private schools solely because they are religious. The New York Times reported that Justices Ginsburg and Kagan argued in their dissents that no discrimination currently existed. The Montana Supreme Court had ended any possible discrimination when it ended the program. On the sole ground and reaching no other issue, Justice Ginsburg wrote, "I dissent from the court's judgments." The Blaine Amendments. Members of the conservative majority interpreted the case in the light of 19th century law called the Blaine Amendment. Kanu explained the history of the Blaine Amendments. In 1875, President Ulysses S. Grant proposed a constitutional amendment. That amendment would provide free public education and prohibit direct aid to religious schools. According to Kanu, Congressman James Blaine proposed that the amendment to the U.S. Constitution, the amendment barred any public funding of organizations controlled by a religious group. It had broad support and passed in the House. However, it failed to achieve the necessary majority to pass in the Senate. Kanu reported that while 38 states had passed such an amendment at the time, the Blaine amendments were considered to be anti-Catholic and anti-immigrant to some. The Los Angeles Times reported that Justice Alito invoked the Blaine Amendment in his concurring opinion, wrote that the Blaine Amendments were prompted by virulent prejudice against immigrants, particularly Catholic immigrants, and had the backing of the Ku Klux Klan. New York Times reported that Justice Kavanaugh had referred in oral arguments to the Blaine Amendments. He had said that they were rooted in grotesque religious bigotry against Catholics. Montana, however, rejected the argument that its law was a Blaine Amendment. It had enacted the current version in 1972. And that's the story. Somewhere in there is the way that pagans can twist that shit to work for us. Let's see. I got to find WitchCon now. There we go. WitchCon. A page. I liked it already. Perfect. Let's see here. WitchCon Online 2021, a live stream magical conference, an online event. The new normal hopefully won't be our permanent normal, but WitchCon will be online forever. Brian King, Christian Day, and the Hex Education Network present WitchCon Online 2021. The largest online magical conference in the world devoted to witchcraft, conjure, and root work, where you can connect with leading experts on the arts of magic from across the globe. Tickets are $95. Nothing. You can put away $95 like nothing, man. And offer access to all classes and performances, both live and on demand, after the event is over. You won't have to miss a single magical moment. Our interactive vending area is free and open to the public and features an enchanting array of magical merchants offering bewitching products you can purchase directly on screen. Oh dear, here we go. Our presenters for the 2021 WitchCon are the preeminent masters of the magical arts. Oh, that's very nice. Including, in what appears to be alphabetical order, Alexander Cabot, Alexis R. Ariondo, Eric J. Lebrondo, Brian Kane, Byron Ballard, Carriel Crow. My bro, Candelo Cabisa's gonna be there, or on there, or is that a there? Candelo's gonna be there, whatever the fuck. Carrie Ewers, Carly Dwyer, Carolyn Kenner, Kat the Guard, one of my kids, Celeste Nee, Charity Bedell, Christian Day, Christine Steffens, Craig Stevens, Craig Spencer, Darcy Velez, Denise Alvarado, Deanna Rochelle, the Dragon Ritual Drummers, Eddie Massey, Elohim Lafar, Ellie Barnes, Ellen Everett Hopman, Fiona Horn, Gian Michael Salvato, Guz Di Zerega, Hugon Senjak, Jacques Sivartries, Jennifer Medway, Jim Barker, Jim Sayers, Kate Fruler, Kate Henriot, Jau, Kenya Koviak again, Kelly and Shaw Marie Jeffrey, Crystal Athena Hubbard, Crystal Madison, Lady Rhea, Leanne Maramar, Levi Rowland, Lilith Dorsey, Lorelei, just plain old Lorelei, Mary Grace Farhoon, Melanie Marquise, Michael Carell, oh my goodness, Michael Ferree, there's a bunch of Michaels, Michael Herquez, Melissa Mayhem, Nathan King, Oberon, Zella. He doesn't make it to shit too often. See, this is the benefits of one of these online things, man. He's up there in age. He's like one of our living elders. Pastor Phil Wyman, Paul Bear. Oh my God. Did you hear that? Paul Barrow. Mm-hmm. The fucking, my two favorite fucking herb books in the world. The Compendium of Herbal Magic and the other one. Penny Bedard. Wait, didn't we already read her?
No.
Oh.
There's the other one.
Okay. Phyllis Karatz, Priestess Mary, I thought the name rang a bell. Yeah. Priestess Miriam Sharmani, Rebecca Spirit, Sandra Mariah Wright, Sen Elias, Sen Wild, Sean, I'm sorry. I did Sen and then went to Sean. Sean Wild, Shannon Marie Doust. Here we go. Silver Ravenwolf, dude. Silver Ravenwolf. I can't believe I'm on the same bill with Silver Ravenwolf. I'm never going to get over this. Sarita Dieste, Star Ann Ravenhawk.
It's
Deste. Star Cassis. Tara Sanchez. Oh, you know, so people are going to be really pissed off I'm on the same bill with Star Cassis. Yeah, I want those people to be pissed off. Tara Sanchez. Hey, y'all, you know, if you know who those people are, make sure they know, so they're really pissed off, okay? Tara Sanchez, Taryn S., Baba Ted Jau, Tess. Oh my God, this is so long. Tess Whitenhurst.
And you're butchering it all.
I know. Thorne. Well, this is my first time. I'll get better, when you get closer to it. Thorne Mooney. You can read it next time. Tony Rotonda and Steve Intermill. Tanya Brown. Trish Telesco. Val Hughes. And, of course, Witch Doctor Utu, because he's got a W, is way down here on the bottom. And who's going to be the last one? Yeshe Matthews. Oh, my God. March 5th, 2001. Or, I'm sorry, 2021. Live stream magical conference, WitchCon. First of its kind. First ever. It's going to be a yearly event. It's cheap as fuck. We already got, just here on the Facebook event, we got 340 people going. The thing's only been in existence for about 2 weeks. It's going to be epic, and I guess it just won't sell out because it's online. I guess they just, maybe have to pay for more bandwidth or something, man, if it gets too fucking huge, but it's going to be epic. And then, when you get a little closer to that, we'll start plugging HexFest 2021, which I'm going to be on that one too. This is great. I got all this work, and I don't have to leave the house. That's my work ethic right there, man. To work hard, but don't leave the fucking house. Stay the fuck home. Work smarter, not harder. All right, y'all. I gotta play something. We've been reading some stuff, and then I'll read you some more fucking. Got some other pagan news, I think. There. Let's see. Bad religion always perks me up.
Like
I slip on the ice. Santa Claus been looking. Who's been naughty? Who's been nice? I'm looking for one thing real tonight. And Jesus, he comes up to me. Jesus, he sits down. He says, take this fucking cross off my back. I'm going downtown. I said, oh, but ain't that your uniform? He offers me a toke. He says 2,000 years is long enough for this particular joke. He says I'm looking for one thing real tonight. And I'm up here singing these songs every night. Sometimes I wanna just make 'em all up on the spot. Maybe they wouldn't rhyme too good, and they might not make sense. But then at least I wouldn't be repeating myself. I'm looking for one thing real tonight. And you're the one I've chosen, and I guess you've chosen me. Let's turn off the commercials. Let's turn off the TV. How well can we get to know each other in an hour? We can fight the daylight. We have that power. I'm looking for one thing real tonight. And Bingo sits next to me with a bucket full of paste. He rips off my ear and says, glue this to my face. I'd like to leave America for someplace where they would not know a word of English, and I might be understood. I'm looking for one thing real
damn burn on Widdershins Radio. I think we heard some Bad Religion before that. I don't fucking know, but it doesn't really matter because you don't care. This comes from us from the Friendly Atheist. And, I don't know if it's okay to say, but God bless the Satanists, man. The Satanic Temple.
It's okay to say whatever the fuck you want on
All
your
right.
own show.
Yeah, but God bless the Satanists.
And I'm allowing it.
All right, well, I know you're allowing it, but God bless the Satanists. Is that okay?
I'm sure once upon a time,
Gods.
God How
about our gods?
Satanists.
I'm sure Jehovah's not going to do it.
I'm sure that's happened before.
You know, Jehovah's fucking tweaky and
you
has
know what?
so much baggage.
You
I
know
don't want
what?
to deal with him.
When it all is at the end of the day,
I got a drink.
I think Jehovah likes us more than the people who go to church every Sunday. I'm just saying.
And while I'm thinking about, having a drink, because she said at the end of the day, hello, chat room.
I was thinking about the chat room too.
I'm still scared to go to the chat room on this app and check on you all because of the time it crashed that time. I really need to
I think it crashed
experiment
twice.
with
Both times that you did that.
Yeah. So I need to experiment with that and see if the people at Spreaker have fixed that. Because I don't want to crash the whole show just to say hi to you all. But hey, how the fuck are you?
Hi, chat room peeps.
Chat room peeps. I know you're there. Several years ago, the Satanic Temple argued in a court that one of their members in Missouri didn't need to abide by the state's 72-hour waiting period for abortions because it violated her belief that one's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will, alone. The lawsuit was ultimately unsuccessful, in part because she was no longer pregnant when the judge issued the ruling. They tried a similar tactic in 2019, this time with an anonymous plaintiff whose own pregnancy timeline wouldn't be an issue. But that didn't work either. The court said that whatever obstacles there were to obtaining an abortion in Missouri, women could still theoretically get them. And this plaintiff wasn't singled out because she was a Satanist, so the lawsuit based on religious discrimination was a no-go. That's why today the Satanic Temple is laying the groundwork for future battles over abortion. They're announcing that all first trimester abortions must be exempt from the state's regulations to hinder access to the procedure because such hurdles violate 2 of their 7 fundamental tenets regarding bodily autonomy and adherence to best scientific practice. They're basically using the Hobby Lobby Supreme Court decision with an evangelical business owner used to prevent insurance providers from covering his employees' birth control to defend a woman's right to choose. Fucking, that's why I'm saying God bless the Satanists. Fucking turn that shit around on them. How does that work? The Satanists say that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act prohibits the government from interfering with someone's religious practices unless there's a really good reason for it. Does it really say those words? Most states have their own versions of this law as well, by saying abortion in the first trimester are a religious ritual for their members. Any states that have their own RFRA laws, and most anti-abortion states have them, would theoretically have to show why their medically unnecessary restrictions should override Satanist religious freedom. TST's reproductive rights spokesperson, Jane Essex, notes that many states have laws that interfere with our members' ability to practice their own religious beliefs. No Christian would accept mandatory waiting period before they can partake in communion. No Christian would tolerate a law that insists state counseling is necessary before someone can be baptized. Our members are justly entitled to their religious liberty in order to practice their own rituals as well. Today's announcement is just a press release. Either the Satanic Temple is fully laying out what its abortion rituals look like. Here, for example, is what members would have to do before surgical abortions. Prior to receiving any anesthetic or sedation, look at your reflection to be reminded of your personhood and your responsibility to yourself. Focus on your intent. Take deep breaths and make yourself comfortable. When you are ready, say the third tenet and fifth tenet aloud. You may now undergo the surgery. After the surgery is complete and any anesthetic is worn off, return to your reflection and recite your personal affirmation. Feel doubts dissipating and your confidence growing as you have just undertaken a decision that affirms your autonomy and free will. The religious abortion ritual is now complete. They ritualized, are you hearing that? They ritualized abortion, making it a religious practice. This is fucking brilliant.
That's crazy.
He's fucking brilliant. The Satanists also offer members a template letter they can give officials if they want to take advantage of their religious exemption. This part is just chef's kiss, all right? Because the abortive act is inextricably linked to a religious right. A burden on the act is a burden on the right. State law implements some or all of the following generally applicable burdens on the abortive act, each of which substantially interfere with the religious beliefs and practices. Mandatory waiting periods, requirements that practitioners withhold certain medical information, compulsory counseling prior to abortion, required reading materials, medically unnecessary sonograms, mandatory listening to the fetal heartbeat, burial or cremation of fetal remains. Based on the foregoing, I demand a religious exemption to these generally applicable restrictions. I asked Carolyn Mala-Coben, a professor of law at the University of Miami, who has written extensively on church-state separation, what she thought about this strategy. She told me it should work in theory since the RFRA laws are meant to protect all religious and not just the popular ones, or all religions. But she added there may be two problems. A patient would have to establish that the abortion ritual is a sincere religious practice, and the court may reject that claim. After all, the member of the Satanic Temple is arguing that the abortion is akin to a sacrament. A hostile court may also conclude that beliefs about autonomy and science, while sincere, are secular rather than religious. Though it would be wading into murky territory by declaring that sincere religious beliefs are not religious, and courts are generally wary of drawing the line between religious beliefs and non-religious beliefs. 2, a patient would have to show that the abortion restrictions substantially burden her religious practice. While after the Hobby Lobby courts are supposed to be differential to religious objectors' claim of substantial burden, I can imagine that the courts may argue otherwise, e.g. waiting a day or two does not prevent the abortion. At the same time, if a court is willing to accept an abortion as a religious ritual akin to communion, then requiring people to wait several days before they're allowed to receive it should amount to a substantial burden. Of course, the Satanic Temple was careful to make clear that the abortion ritual is more than an abortion itself, strengthening its claim that the state's regulations interfered with the whole ritual. So what happens now? We wait for a challenge. If a Satanist seeks an abortion and is prevented from doing so in any meaningful way, the Satanic Temple could file a lawsuit that the state is violating their members' religious freedom. Then we wait for the fireworks. Oh, those Satanists. They definitely know how to bring some fireworks.
Yeah, it's a pretty
That's
good story.
fucking beautiful, dude. Turn their shit on them. I fucking love that, man. Feed on your enemies.
Well, are you done?
I can be. I got another story, but...
Well,
Okay,
no,
what?
you don't
Go
got
ahead.
another story. It's my turn.
Okay.
So I'm not going to read the whole story, but I just got an alert over the New York Times that says, you know how like they tell you to keep 6 feet away? The social distancing is 6 feet.
Yeah.
So that they recently, and like I said, it's the New York Times, so I trust the source. They have been able to isolate viral particles emitted from people between 7 and 16 feet. So the 6 feet thing, and then I'm thinking about our kids. So where they're going to have like 2 kids in a classroom at like opposite ends. So now the 6 feet, and you know, the whole thing is arbitrary anyway. In Asia, you know how they opened like Tokyo Disneyland or whatever?
Yeah.
Their rules are 3 feet. So when you're waiting in line, you know, for a ride, you only have to keep 3 feet of distance. So it's like, okay, well, which is it? You know, I mean, it kind of makes me not have a lot of faith in the science. So now they've been able to isolate aerosols emitted from COVID patients that travel between 7 and 16 feet. So that's a game changer. The thing that they have to test now is they want to see if the aerosols are large enough to actually infect somebody, because you know the further distance they travel, you know, the smaller they become.
Yeah.
They did find them, but they now have to test and see if they can actually, if it's enough, you know, to infect somebody. They're testing it like in a petri dish to see when something travels like 16 feet and lands on the petri dish if it can replicate as a virus. But that's a game changer. They're calling it a smoking gun, which it is. Like, you know, people in Japan think it's 3 feet, and we think it's 6 feet, and now it might be 16 feet. Stop. Azzy, stop, please.
I'm sure it's okay, dude.
So I think that's kind of major.
That is pretty major.
You know, people think they're pretty safe if they stand behind the tape, you know, that's put on in the store or whatever, we're 6 feet apart. Well, not necessarily.
I'm pretty much doing double whatever the mark is.
Yeah, it's safer to just do double. Yeah. And that's what, you know, we had friends over. I didn't do 6 feet. I did like 20 feet.
Yeah.
But,
barely hear each other through the masks.
Yeah. Well, we took our masks off because we were far enough away from each other. But, yeah. Crazy.
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 You're crazy.
You're crazy.
You're so crazy.
You're crazy.
So this one comes from LA Taco. It's up at the top. It says, click here for free tacos, man. I don't know. I almost want to, but we're too far from LA. I don't think it's going to work.
Okay, do you want me to explain to you or not?
What?
LA Taco is the name of a publication.
I know.
It's not a restaurant.
But they have a thing that says click for free tacos.
Yeah, so free tacos is probably something else and not an actual taco because it's not a taco stand.
A group dressed in white performed a Santeria ritual in front of the LAPD headquarters to honor all who have been killed by police. Last week, early morning, a group of about 24 people dressed in white gathered in front of the LAPD headquarters in downtown Los Angeles to perform a leukemia ritual honoring those killed by police. Ajumu Smith and an Oba, or master of ceremonies, produced a rhythm by using the ground and a thick wooden stick, and led his people in a Yoruba language song and prayer. Below him, at the base of a tall palm tree, flowers, incense, cups of water, and candles formed an altar. Smoke of the incense swirled around printed photos of men and women killed by police. Lukumi, also known as Santeria, is an Afro-Cuban religion combining West African Yoruba traditions and Catholic elements. Practitioners worship orishas, or deities that are believed to be different manifestations of God. Paramount to believers is honoring ancestors. Many of these people were killed alone, and many of them didn't get the kind of burials and ceremonies in order for their spirits to rest. said Catherine Scott, an elder and priestess of Oshun, the deity of rivers, love, and femininity. There were a lot of protests that were happening, but nothing was spiritually anchoring people. After the prayer songs, Scott picked up a stack of paper. On it, the names of countless people killed by police. She called out their names. The small crowd repeated them. The ceremony ended with an incantation of the word Ashe, a Yoruba term and philosophical concept meaning the power to make change happen. Our ancestors gave us access to the tradition, and it's our ancestors that help us maintain the tradition, explained Scott. Now these men and women have become part of the realm. They got a bunch of pictures and a bunch of pictures. And they all got masks. They're doing the Yoruba rituals, all wearing masks. They got white masks. White masks, I might add. A lot of fucking pictures. A lot of fucking pictures. This might be the end of the story because, this is radio. We can't do pictures. Jesus. Is that it? Yep, that's the end of the story. Good fucking story, though, from the LA Taco. Let's see, I thought I had one more. From the Wild Hunt, the pandemic impact on witch hunts, July 15th. The current pandemic has had an impact in countries around the world in a variety of ways, particularly in how it has affected economic and social infrastructures. One welcome impact is how it has driven up the cases of the witch hunts, which are fueled by ignorance, superstition, and belief in malignant magical practices. Please note that when witchcraft and witch hunt are placed within question marks, it denotes a belief and practice that is in no way associated with modern pagan or witchcraft practices. The victims of witch hunts are usually not pagans, witches, or practicing any spiritual practice that could be considered pagan. In recent past, there have been an epidemic levels of witch hunts in developing nations whose victims were the elderly, children, and anyone who was presently different. Those with albinism, those suffering from mental physical health issues, and those with any disability issue that might set them apart. Until recently, a number of cases had been on the decline. Social unrest, epidemics, and pandemics frequently cause a rise in these cases. Healthcare workers can also become targets of violence, as evidenced by the attacks on health facilities that occurred in Denmark last year during the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The attack left 4 Ebola response workers dead, and the case of the World Health Organization to pull some of its resources back due to threats. Where the attack was not specifically attributed to the belief in witchcraft, in reports, it's not unusual for healthcare treatments to be viewed as unnatural and sometimes potentially baneful magical work, especially if patients being treated die. Renewed efforts to educate villagers in not only these developing countries, but also to help educate immigrants to other more developed nations are being undertaken by several organizations. Last September, the Witchcraft and Human Rights Information Network launched a new program, Which Way Forward, whose campaign overview is to protect the rights of innocent women, children, other persons, and people with disabilities, including those with albinism, are being tortured and killed every day due to harmful practices related to manifestations and belief of and in witchcraft. Some are hacked to death for their body parts, some used in magical spells, others are burned, beaten due to the belief that they are evil. This is not the 16th century. It needs to stop. And now you can help bring about this change by supporting the Which Way Forward campaign and committing to take action to prevent some of the 21st century's most horrific human rights abuses. And while I'm reading this story, albinism has come up every time, and I know in Africa, albinos are quite often taken hostage by witch doctors. And witch doctors, use their body parts and stuff to do witchcraft. So, it's like they're getting it on both ends. They're like getting killed by the witch doctors and being killed by the witch hunters. So, yeah, man, we really got to stand up for the albinos, man, in African countries. But this always goes on, and with the pandemic, it was, destined to go on more. It always does. We always, wherever we are, even if they're not us, if they call them us, they're going to blame them and us for whatever fucking plague came along. Even though, here in America, the plague, as it stands, maybe not directly brought on, but is as bad as it is because of the dude that a lot of evangelicals say is the second coming of Christ. So wrap your head around that. Widdershins. I think it's time to rock out unless you got something to say, woman.
No,
Got
rock
like
out.
10 minutes, man.
Rock out.
Woo! Widdershins, we did it again. All right. We'll see you next week. Be sure to follow us on Spreaker.com/user/Widdershins or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or any place that you fucking find us. Maybe every place you look for podcasts. I don't know. I lost track, but that's how we do it over here at Widdershins.
Mm-hmm.
Video games train the kids for war. Only she can have fashion stores. Law orders done their job. Prisons filled while the rich still rob. Assassination politics. Violence rules within our nation's midst. Well, ignorance is their power too. You only know what they want you to know. The television cannot lie. Controlling media with smoke screen eyes. Nuclear politicians picture show. The acting's lousy, but the blind don't know. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your eyes. They scare us all with threats of war, so we forget just how bad things are. You taste the fear when you're all alone. They're gonna get you when you're on your own. The silence of conspiracy, slaughter on and on to all apathy. You gotta wake up from your sleep, 'cause we can hear it's up 6 feet deep. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your eyes, see the lights right in front of you. Open your A new age of reason, brain treason to trick the mind. What good is searching if nothing's there to find? We arrive at this place of no return, my brothers, only to discover that our minds have led us away so far from the paper truth of who we are. What's right is wrong, what's gone is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's benign corrupts and died. Of a come forth, bear witness. See the profit from your loss, beg for forgiveness. Only after you tally the cost. We arrive at this place of no return, my sisters, only to discover that our values ran us aground on the show in the sea of what we could be. What's right is wrong, what's gone is gone, what's clear and pure is not so sure. All promises become a lie, all that's been right corrupts and died. Of a
horses and a bus. Dirty men with their dirty looks.
What you need in your room at night?
Therapy.
That's right. Who's getting when you kill that night?
Therapy.
That's right. What you want when it all goes wrong?
Therapy.
That's right. Who needs therapy all night long?
I dream of payments and payments